Greetings, YouTube. This is Kiryu 904, and the month of Halloween has finally arrived, along with this year's Foreign Fright Fest. We will begin by taking a look at the 2010 Norwegian mockumentary film Trollhunter, which was written and directed by André Øvredal. We start with text explaining how, in 2008, the Norwegian production company Film Camera 10 AS received an anonymous package of 2 discs of footage, which was assembled into a rough cut, and was concluded to be authentic by investigators. We then cut to college students Thomas, Kalle, and Johanna, making a documentary about an alleged bear poacher known simply as Hans. They interview a group of hunters who note that the tracks of a recently killed bear look a bit strange, as if they were fake. Although the head of the Norwegian Wildlife Board, Finn Hagen, brushes this suggestion off. The 3 students manage to locate Hans and repeatedly pester him for an interview, but he keeps telling them to get lost. By nightfall, they follow him to a forest where the group spot flashing lights and sees him flee from something, screaming, "Troll!" Thomas is then bitten by some unknown animal before they all escape in Hans's vehicle. He agrees to allow the students to film what he was hunting, provided they do exactly what he says. The following night, Hans asks the 3 if they believe in Jesus or God, to which the confused kids each answer no. The hunter explains that what he's hunting can smell the blood of a Christian man. They all return to the same forest from the previous night, and, much to the students' shock and horror, find a giant 3-headed troll, which chases after them. Fortunately, Hans is able to kill it with a UV light on his Land Rover that instantly turns it into stone. It's then that Hans reveals that he works with a government group called the Troll Security Service to kill trolls in order to keep their existence a secret. By morning, Finn, who in fact works for the TSS, and a team of men arrive and plant a dead bear on the scene, along with some fake tracks to fool the public into believing that a bear was killed. Finn becomes angry that Hans has allowed a group of kids to film his activities, and warns them that their footage will be confiscated before leaving. After this, the troll hunter explains that he's quite tired of his job that he gets very little compensation for, and wants Thomas, Kalle, and Johanna to document what he does and reveal the truth to the public. From there, the kids learn about the various types of trolls he hunts, the methods Hans uses to get close to them, and how trolls either turn to stone or explode upon contact with UV rays. Lately, the trolls have begun to leave their territories, acting more aggressively, and Hans has been tasked with finding out why. To do this, he plans on getting a blood sample from a bridge troll by luring it out from underneath its hiding place with some goats, and a huge bucket of blood from a Christian man, which I'm a bit suspicious on how he obtained that much. After being knocked around in his armored suit, Hans successfully retrieves the sample before exploding it with his UV gun. They then take the sample to a TSS vet, who tells them the results won't be available for several days. Next, Hans and the students investigate an abandoned mine, discovering it to be the lair of a group of cave trolls. Before they can leave, though, the trolls return, forcing the hunter and kids to hide in a smaller cave within the mine to avoid detection. However, the trolls soon sniff out Kalle, who lied about not being Christian, and they're forced to make a run for it. Everyone is able to make it to the mine entrance, but unfortunately Kalle is caught and killed by the pursuing trolls. The devastated group heads back to Hans's trailer, where Finn is snooping around, looking for the footage they've gathered on trolls. He then orders Hans to head up north into troll territory to deal with the problem directly before leaving. After this, Thomas and Johanna manage to get a woman named Malika to be their camera person. Upon inquiring about whether or not she's Christian, she tells them that she's Muslim, much to their relief, although she's pretty disbelieving about the fact that they're hunting trolls. The group stay inside a cabin until a massive Jotun troll arrives, prompting Hans into action. They then receive a call from the TSS vet, who informs them that the troll they got the blood sample from had rabies, leading them to conclude that all the other trolls they've encountered had rabies, explaining their aggressive behavior, and likely spread to them by the Jotun. This unfortunately means that Thomas, who hadn't been feeling too well up till this point, also has rabies, having contracted it from the troll that bit him. They soon find themselves relentlessly chased by the Jotun in a scene that makes me think of Jurassic Park and the 1998 Godzilla. But Hans manages to hit it several times with flashes of UV light. With the giant troll weakened, the hunter shoots it with a projectile, causing the monster to completely petrify and crumble to pieces. Thomas, Johanna, and Malika then watch as Hans walks off into the distance, never to be seen again. On the hunter's directions, the three walk towards the nearest highway before noticing Finn, along with several TSS personnel, approaching to confiscate their footage, which I'm surprised he waited this long to do that. Grabbing the camera, a sickly Thomas makes a mad dash for the road as his friends are apprehended by Finn's men. The footage ends with an oncoming truck stopping as Thomas reaches the road. More text informs us that all three of the students have disappeared and that the Norwegian government has yet to confirm the existence of the TSS, although we get a final scene where the Prime Minister Jens Stoltenberg seemingly reveals the truth about trolls during a 2010 press conference, though the admission is utterly lost on the press. After this, the movie finally ends. And that was Trollhunter. This is a fun mockumentary film that doesn't take itself too seriously. The characters are likable enough that you want them to make it through, and the comedic aspects aren't overly emphasized. While this isn't primarily a horror film, there are certain horror elements that I thought were expertly sprinkled throughout the movie. It also included many references to Norwegian folktales and culture. A few examples include trolls being able to smell the blood of Christians, a reference to the fairy tale Soria Moria Castle. The painting based on the same tale is also referenced by Thomas early in the film. The way the bridge troll was lured out by goats is a reference to the Three Billy Goats gruff, and a scene where a character asks about an eating contest is a reference to the boy who had an eating match with a troll. The designs of the various trolls were also based on illustrations by John Bauer and Theodore Kittelsen. The digital effects used to create the trolls also look very detailed and realistic. All of the acting felt pretty natural, as it should in a found footage film, with the best performance coming from the character Hans the Trollhunter, who was played by Norwegian comedian Otto Jespersen. The cinematography was handled quite well, and the shaky camera was rarely a nuisance throughout the movie. André Øvredal did a fantastic job with this film, and he's gone on to direct more fantasy and supernatural thrillers since then with varying degrees of success, like The Autopsy of Jane Doe, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Well, that does it for Part 1 of Foreign Fright Fest 2025. Come back next time as we check out a vampire flick from Hammer Studios. Be sure to leave a comment, thumbs up if you enjoyed this movie review, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. You can also follow me on Twitter. Goodbye, and have a good day, everyone.